Hi, and welcome to Learning with Mrs. Lasley. So today I want to talk to you guys about growth mindset, what it is, and how you can teach it to your kiddos. So growth mindset is really important. You'll notice that teachers are starting to really work to implement this into their everyday lessons and activities, because what we find is that, and what research is showing, is that growth mindset is imperative to a very successful learner. So in order for your kiddos to be as successful as they can be, it's important that they begin to have a growth mindset. And so first I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what growth mindset is versus a fixed mindset. So a growth mindset is the mindset that intelligence is not fixed and can be improved with hard work and effort. So students and children that have a growth mindset tend to be more motivated and have more perseverance through challenges because they believe that there is an end goal that they can improve on. So they can improve their brain, therefore that if they just put in the hard work and show some effort, then they can grow their brain. Now the flip side is that if you're looking at a fixed mindset is the mindset that you are born with the intelligence you'll have forever and there's no opportunity to improve. So students and children that have a fixed mindset are more likely to give up quickly and believe that they're not enough and cannot do a task because they were just truly born without the capability. So this is important because it kind of is an underlying mindset that you probably don't really realize with the language that they say, whether they have a growth or a fixed mindset. But it's important to kind of encourage that growth mindset with your kids. And I have a few tips that I'm going to share with you today on how you can encourage your kiddos to have a growth mindset so they can be the most successful people and learners that they can be. So a couple tips to grow a growth mindset and to encourage a growth mindset. Number one is tell them that their brains can grow stronger. This is important. So the more that you remind them and tell them that their brains can get better and bigger and stronger and they can continue working on something, this is going to be really imperative to them because the more that they hear that, the more they're going to believe it. In fact, I would even encourage them to almost have it as a mantra and have them repeat it back. My brain can grow stronger. So even though that sentence is somewhat simple and it may seem like it doesn't do a whole lot in the beginning, the more that you tell your child that and the more that your child tells themselves that, they're going to believe that they can continue to grow, which is very much the truth. Our brains are not fixed. It's important for children to know that. It's also important for adults to know that. It's very important to keep persevering, be persistent, keep challenging your brain so you can learn as much as you can because our brains are capable of a lot of great things. So, tip number one, tell your child that your brains can go stronger and encourage them to tell themselves that as well. Tip number two is look for effort over results. So it's important to encourage your child to really, it's very much enjoy the journey and not just the destination. So that's going to be really big here. It's important that you're not focusing completely on getting to the result of being successful at the very end of the task. It's, hey, I can see that you're putting in a lot of really great work for that. Like, good job. That's awesome. Putting in that effort instead of just raising them for that result is very important. Now, tip number three is very much connected to tip number two. So rewarding persistency. This is important, just like the effort versus the results. It's important to reward them for them trying hard and putting in the effort and continue to do that even when it is difficult rather than only rewarding them at the end of the task. So as an example, if I was going to give a child praise, if I see that they're working on a math problem that's really hard for them, if I see that they're saying that, you can tell that they're getting frustrated and they're starting to stop and then they decide to go back at it again, I would say, wow, I see that that's really difficult for you, but you're pushing through anyway. Good job for keep trying. You're going to get it. So you see how my praise says, it's okay, it's okay that we're not at that successful point quite yet, and it's okay that you don't quite know this activity or content, but you're trying really hard, and that's really important because the more you try and the more effort you put in and the more persistent you are, you can learn it. right? But if you give up too quickly, then it's true, then you're not going to be able to learn that skill. So rewarding persistency, and along with this tip, I also will say be specific with praise. So instead of just saying good job, I would encourage you to be specific with what they're doing well. This is important because good job, while it does feel nice to hear, it doesn't help the child identify what specifically they did well. So if you want to reward them for being persistent, I would tell them that, wow, I see that you're working really hard and you keep going for it. Good job. Like, that's awesome. Good job, and keep trying. You'll make it. So rewarding persistency, being specific with praise. And my other tip is encouraging failure. So I know that this seems kind of like an odd tip, but it really is true. Encourage failure, because what happens is when we fail, we learn something from it. So you'll notice with a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset, a growth mindset student or child will look for ways to challenge themselves, and when they fail, they learn, what mistakes they made and how not to do it again, and they push forward. It's all about moving forward. Whereas if you have a fixed mindset, you see the failure as basically a validation as to, I can't do this. See, I knew I couldn't do this. My brain's not capable of this. So the failure is just reinforcing that already believed idea. So encourage failure. Teach your children that failure is part of life. In fact, it's good because it teaches us lessons. Nobody ever is amazing at something the first try at it. It's just not possible. It's just not true. So teaching your kids that failure is okay. In fact, it's encouraged. Make mistakes and learn from them. That's okay. That's part of the process. It's trial and error. And I think that that's really important, especially since it feels odd to encourage failure. But I realize that the more I teach it, I find that I'm really helping my kids feel like they are confident in moving forward, because honestly, I make mistakes too. And I will point those out to my students. I'll say, hey, wow, I made a mistake. Okay, well, what can I learn from this? And anytime that I can use that opportunity of teaching my mistake to my students, I try to take that, even though it seems odd in the meantime, but it really is helpful for kids to see that failure is okay. It's natural, and it's also important to learning how to better yourself. And my last tip for you today is thinking about the language that you use when you're encouraging a growth mindset. So a lot of kids will say, if they're working on an activity, they just say, I can't do this. Now, I would encourage, instead of allowing your child to just say, I can't do this, add the word yet to the end. Sure, you can't do this skill right now, but you can't do this skill yet, but you will be able to if you keep pushing forward, or if you keep working on the skill, or if you keep practicing. So adding the word yet allows it's just another subliminal message for your kiddo to remind them that our brains can grow and get stronger. So it's true that in this current moment, maybe your child can't finish a multiplication problem. That's true. Maybe they can't do it yet. So encouraging your child, kind of reminding them about that language. So whenever your child says, I can't do this, you say, oh, you can't do it yet. However, you are really strong and capable, and I bet you if you kept practicing, you'd be able to do it. So do you see how that basically is validating the fact of, yes, it's true. I know you feel that you can't do this right now. However, you do have the capability to do it later. So just adding the word yet to the end of your child's sentences is really helpful. It might feel annoying to them in the beginning, and they might say, I don't want to say that. I don't want to do that. But again, just like telling your child your brains can go stronger, it's another way to encourage your child to remember that they can always be improving. And so adding that to the end of the sentence is helpful. So I hope these tips were helpful. I just wanted to offer a few ideas for a growth mindset. I know that I continuously look for opportunities to kind of encourage growth mindset in my students and in myself too, because I notice that a lot of times I'll give language that makes it sound like I have a fixed mindset, and I think, wow, that's not really progressive. Like, I need to be thinking about how I can have my own growth mindset and then teach it to the students, so that way we can all be the most successful people and learners that we can be, right? So I hope this was helpful. Please make sure to like and subscribe my videos if you like my content. My goal is to reach as many people as possible, especially during this upcoming school year. I know this is going to be a challenging one for parents, and so I would love to offer as much help as I possibly can. Furthermore, I would like to just remind you that I do have a website called learningwithmrslasley.com. If you haven't checked it out, please feel free to do that. It has wonderful resources on it. It's got educational articles, book suggestions, lots of activities, lesson plans, and plenty more. I also wanted to let you guys know, and if you guys haven't heard already, that I'm offering a free consultation to any parent that's interested, and explaining to them what I can do. I can offer tutoring, I can offer homeschool help, distance learning help, basically any kind of education based I can help with. So if you want to do a free consultation with me, I would love to meet you and see how I can help your family in any way possible. So please feel free to reach out to me on my website or on Facebook or Instagram. I'm all over the place. So I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week and happy learning.